Oh my gosh, that's like the majority of the rechargeable evocables all just hanging out in one shop. Don't mind if I do mark those real quick. And I mean, Quicksilver we'll probably buy at some point in the future. I'm tempted to get that Ice Blast now, but might have to wait. Have I tried new Necromancy / Kiku yet? That's another one that a little bit, but not nearly as much as range or anything else. I definitely want to try Necromancy. I think one of our cats, even potentially the first cat we played, tried out Necromancy to hopefully see some of the changes, but didn't quite live long enough to actually experience any of the new fun. So definitely something I still need to go into in the future here and give a good solid try to, rather than just a surface level scratching. But I am very happy with that rework in general, because Necromancy definitely wasn't my jam, wasn't my cup of tea. And it gives it some breath here, rebreathes vitality into the school, so that's always really fun for me. Oh my gosh, let's just, ignore everyone over that direction, just don't worry about it. Even the Spriggan I probably should not have engaged with, but we'll bring you out to an open area. Oh, and you were a shapeshifter. Well, how about that? Where do we train next? Unarmed is going to have to be here eventually, so maybe we'll just pop that on while we decide. Have I explored Abyss 6+ yet? I have not. No, nothing there. In fact, I haven't been to the Abyss at all in this version, which I should rectify, because I feel like I'm still traumatized by the Abyss that gave no experience in the previous version. And so that just became a no-go zone. Unless I was going full 15 runes, there was no shot that I visit the Abyss, but that has been rectified now, so I should really explore it at some point and check out those changes. And okay, Erigna's Toxic Bog, very much castable, so let's definitely learn that now. And geez Louise, I think we're just about at the time where we need to... Oh no, Nessos. Okay, close that door, re-teleport, and... Whoops. XP's back. Can't even unwield disco weapons to get into Abyss. Wait, distortion weapons don't banish you anymore when you unwield them? It kind of makes sense, because I know in like the current meta, a lot of times people are using distortion weapons just as like a free get out of jail free card. You know, especially if you already have the Abyss rune, so you're gonna find exits easily, and you're already strong enough to survive the Abyss. Pretty sweet deal, especially I know like Mega Zig characters do that a lot. Oh, you know, you just meant his Felid, so that's still around. Interesting. I was curious if that would be a change. Let's hope the teleport hits right as we drink. Nope, I'm gonna get put over here instead. Woo! No, yeah, I get that. Colgate just misunderstood at the start, but no, we'll see if we end up going the Abyss. This is definitely not generally the character types that I enjoy taking to the Abyss. I prefer, you know, melee characters and now ranged characters as well do well, just because they have the sustain power, versus so often your spellcasters are just going to get inundated and overwhelmed, and then you don't have a lot of recourse for moving forward from that. And I was really hoping to find one of these other upstairs, seeing as how we only have the one near where we came in found at the moment. Huh. What do you think about extra consumables they add to various backgrounds? I like that. Yeah, it adds a little bit more flavor to each of the backgrounds, besides just, you know, your starting weapon, which the majority of the time doesn't end up actually meaning too much at the end of the day, especially if you find anything early on in your dungeon adventures, you're liable to switch. So, you know, it's a little bit of flavor, a dash of seasoning for each of the different backgrounds, which I do like the idea of. Plus, the game has gone a decent amount harder over the years here, so it's nice to have a few more advantages early on, especially on certain characters and certain backgrounds. Okay, let's blast that son of a gun. And really, any day now, if I could find a stairway up, I think that would be lovely. That would be ideal even. Some would say downright spectacular. Get offered frozen ramparts. I mean, it's tempting in its own right, just because I absolutely adore the spell, but unfortunately I don't think it's quite a fit with the character, and we'd usually end up just needing to run away. So we'll leave it for now. Now here we go. This is our chance to make some progress in the world. I guess we're relatively close to our upstairs, so maybe we just start heading that direction. Hopefully no Nessos. Just all of Nessos' friends. Oh, what the heck? A Roog was also here? Oh, geez Louise. Definitely should have never come down here and should have taken that lair entrance when we were given the opportunity. You got your 6th win as Formicid Hunter. You found an early Fate Altar and reached 2 pips of Jivia PD in D1. Oh my gosh. Early Jivia is wild. Yeah, that was the same with our... I mean, our Deep Dwarf, I don't even think it was a Fated Altar. I think we just lucked out and got like a D2 sewer with Jivia, but it's pretty wild stuff. Figured you get no loot, so you trained unarmed combat and punched your way through the game. Oh yeah, unarmed combat always good. I mean, it's tough to not go with, you know, holding the two-handed weapon on one side and big shield in the other with Formicid, but at the end of the day, unarmed is just super powerful. As long as you can get over the hump of when you have to start training it, it takes off pretty dang quick. Which, speaking of which, I've been forgetting to do our homework here. So we have Noxious Bog under our belt. Probably don't want to keep training unarmed forever here, not until we at least have some transmutations to back it up. Which again, I'm hoping, I have my fingers crossed, we're on the lookout for any of those opportunities. Jeez Louise, I refuse to fight Uruk here. Oh me oh my. Oh wait, there's a... No, that's just the same stairwell. Don't notice me. They noticed me, but I think we have enough of a head start here. Not even going to worry about the measly little human. Just run for my stairwell. Fantastic. Able to get out in one piece. You thought Orb Run would be difficult with permanent stasis, but it was easy. It definitely can be. That's one of those tricky situations where it's all fine until it isn't. Because I've had my mixed bag for sure, but I mean, at the end of the day, I don't believe I've died on an Orb Run at any point during, especially not during the series, but even in general, I don't know if I ever have. There have been many close calls, don't get me wrong. And so I wouldn't always say they were easy per se, especially on our Genie run in this series. That was a nightmare and a half. But definitely is usually not too bad at the end of the day. Had some fun times where you had to use the vocals on Hydras because Jivia had granted you Clause 3. Oof. Definitely a rough one, but Clause 3 on a melee or on a unarmed combat Formicid Hunter, that's some wild stuff. But okie dokie, let's head to our entrance to Lair. I'm not feeling super hyped about our odds here, but shouldn't be too bad, especially if we can throw out Noxious Bog here. Lead all of our new friends through it, and we do have a Radiate to back that up as well. Should do a half decent job. Should maybe be slightly cautious about bogging up our stairwell. No escapes. But not too shabby. I'm hoping... Okay, I was about to say I'm hoping we have wide open area here in Lair. But this still wasn't maybe quite what I was aiming for. Oh gosh, that's a lot of new friends. Do I dare cordon off my entrance to Lair? The issue is if I head there, it means that we're locked off from this area at all until we're fairly confident that we can murder all these sons of guns, which might be a ways out yet. could still have like Orc, I guess, to potentially try to do some work in, but it's not ideal. Ziggurat was rude in that it gave you a Panlord in Zig 1. Oof. I feel that. I've been doing the some of the sprints recently when I just have a little bit of time around being busy for work, and the Ziggurat sprint, usually no problem at all for the first 5 or so. Every once in a while though, you get exactly that. You get the one Panlord right off the rip, and it's just, well, throw up your hands, no shot. We had fun, I guess, while it lasted. But okie dokes, I think I'm actually going to lead these Sons of Guns slightly away. Put down a big old bog. Potentially can get a lot of them dead here in the first few moments. That would be nice. And then what do I train next? Let's put on fighting to start off, bring it up to like 7, and look at our spells once again. Could get Vile Clutch, I guess. Especially that with Toxic or Noxious Bog is probably a fun little wombo combo. At least for keeping enemies far away from us, or if they do get close, they're poisoned lethally within the first couple turns. Alternatively, we could get something like Summon Guardian Golem, I guess, but meh at this point in time. I'm very much just looking for new spells at the end of the day. Another alternative for what we can train here for the time being is to go with the unarmed route and just keep making progress in that department. I think I'm happy to continue leading our new friends through our bog. I mean, even Maymom is taking Maymom. Maybe that's just my my pet name for you, friend. Maymon here. Is taking a heck of a lot of damage, and there we go, goes down and everything. In fact, that's probably a decent chunk of experience. So maybe we do end up just putting unarmed combat back on for the time being here. Oh my gosh, and it just works. Okay, no need to really faff about with an Ice Beast, or you know, that's cool too. I guess we will mess around with an Ice Beast. I have no extra lives. Where do I think Fanar is? Becomes the new question of the day here. You've usually been in Zot and Storm forms, so it's not been an issue usually. Or specifically that was in regards to you learning Zot 1 to not do Zot without Harlek. Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely a sketchy time. Oh geez Louise. Even blinking is kind of a risk, because if there's anyone that we left behind in our escape earlier, might be able to get us. So I will drink a heal wounds. It is very likely to be a complete waste, but on the slight off chance that we got stepped on there, wanted to have it up and around. Fantastic. And now let's just keep bogging it up like we do. Between that and airstrike, I'm hopeful that we can take care of the majority of our friends here. Don't have any cold resistance, so gonna need to be a little bit creative here with Fanar. In fact, actually, wait a second. I just need to leave. You can pretty much just one-shot us. In fact, I believe you can one-shot us with Fridge, so yeah, that's about right. Oof, oof, oof. Let's just get the heck out of Dodge for now. May we come back with some cold resistance? Guess it's the best we can do. So instead here, let's head over to our entrance to Orc, and hopefully it's a little more manageable, a little more doable here. We'll see what we come across, of course. I mean, this is a half-decent start. Just get the bog up. Get all of our new friends feeling a little bit noxious. And that should be just about perfect. And, oh geez, yeah, quite the crew here, quite the adventurous group. But once again, we just, immediately get force blinked out of there with some dispersal boomerangs. That's cool too, I guess. If I could just get some poison. Beautiful. There we go. Just the slightest opportunity to get some extra damage. I'm surprised, actually, that individual walls aren't a problem. I guess it's only when walls are next to each other. Swap the +10 Ponderous Plate to Storm Dragon Scales, as it was your only art lack besides stat sticks. Cost 8 AC, but well worth it. Resistances in the late game are worth their weight in gold, especially as AC starts to fall off a little bit. You know, you're running into more Tormentors than anything, or just elemental damage in general, so definitely makes a lot of sense to take the swap later on. Very often ends up being the case on any character, really. Perfect. Slightly risky against that warg, but I was hoping they were fully poisoned and we would get through that in one piece, and so we did. Orc, not horrible, but we got pretty lucky in terms of no priests. I could definitely imagine Orc 2 being a little bit sketchier. Unfortunately, it might be our only real avenue at this moment in time, so I guess it is what it is. With that in mind, let's take a peek, shall we? Just the briefest of peeps here. That should do all right here against these first few enemies. Ooh, I was really hoping a few of you would end up in the bog. Not great. Orc Warrior has a boomerang. Not what I was hoping for here. We have one more blink, no more fear. I guess we could read Poison Scroll. The issues that it covers are stairs with poison. But between that and Noxious Bog, can potentially cause some real problems for our new friends. It's mainly the Orc Wizards and the Warg that are the problem right now, of course. You know what, let's just go with one more Bog. Hopefully don't die immediately. And we don't die immediately, so that's good. In fact, perfect. It just works sometimes. I was ready to start chugging heal wounds potions left and right, but fortunately, no need in the end here. And instead, we can just get a move in here. Definitely bring my Bog back out to play, and that should be just about perfect. Fantastic. Again, we're kind of just wasting all this on unarmed combat. I wish that we had some knowledge as to which transmutation forms we'd be getting in the future here, because then we could start training in advance, you know, train some earth magic. Jeez. I might just die to 2 orc priests, just 2 baby orc priests. And now you see the reason for our tear earlier. Jeez Louise. So let's not repeat that again. And High Priest definitely falls under that department. Jeez. Could have gone 4 pips of will with boots, but it would have cost 5 strength. So did not go for it. Of course, can't be paralyzed anyways. Only got petrified once with 2 pips of willpower. Yeah, at the end of the day, willpower is slightly less important on Formicids. You still have to worry about, you know, your standard, your banishments. Always going to be a pain in the butt. But across the board, you definitely feel a little bit safer lacking out in that regard, just because you don't have to worry about paralysis, which has been the death of so many characters in my personal experience. But okie dokes. Probably should not have started a bog right on top of our stairs. One of these days I'll learn, just not today. Oh, if we could get this orc priest to step into our bog and take some poison damage, then you're saying there's a chance. In fact, they should die to that. I think that's lethally poisoned. So then it just becomes a question of surviving until that eventuality. There we go. I do not like Arbalist action, That's not what we wanted to see here. 32 damage is too much. Zot Banishment is not that scary, fair enough. And Jivy also gave you clarity, so you don't have to worry about confusion. That's a nice combination for sure. And regardless, like 4 pips of will, I don't worry too much. I like to have 3 on most of my characters in a 3-rune game at least, or even a 5-rune game. You know, non-extended, I guess, is maybe the way to phrase it. But otherwise, it's usually not the end of the world to have only 3 pips rather than 4. Let's use our final blink in here to just get back, heading this way, and then do I just leave? Really not a fan of that arbalist, at least for now. Let's run up here, put down a nice little bog to take care of our one friend. Perfect. And then we'll have to think about the next time we go down there. We're kind of starting to get limited options here, as is usually the case on a rather a Felid character. And so what is the next best avenue? Could go back out to regular dungeon. I'm really just looking for cold resistance, and then lair should be opened up to us. 1 pip of cold resistance should be just barely enough to get us through that Fanar fight in one piece. So potentially I do just have to come back down here. At least the arbalist friend is in the poison. Beautiful. And that does the job for sure. Excuse me, my warg friend, if you could come right this way. Fantastic. Nice to meet you. Nice to see you. And now Donald, I'm kind of down with. Let's just put down a bog that, of course, clears up before Donald has the chance to get here, but that's decent damage. And then between that and Irradiate, we should be able to kill you, I think, in 1 more turn. Slightly sketchy at the end there, of course, but never a doubt in my mind. Fantastic. Cold and negative resistance not feel useful for Zot. The other ones felt really important though. I would agree with that. 3 pips of fire resistance if at all possible. Our poison, I'm usually hoping to have just settled by that stage in the game, though you never really know. I'm getting too used to statue form spellcasters these days. But Arlek is huge. Our corrosion I've done, usually I don't have by that stage in the game and do alright with. But it is nice if you have it available for sure, to have that as an option. Especially since I've seen some nasty little vault areas where you get nothing but yellow draconians and acid blobs, and it gets real nasty real fast, to say the least. Oh my gosh. It's the dream though. It's not full of ranged arbalist characters, and you're saying that I might just be able to juke the ever-living crap out of all of our new friends? Not bad, not bad. It's still kind of in before Orc High Priests come crawling out of the woodwork every which way, but happy to see it at the moment. Unarmed combat is actually almost all the way up to the cap we set on it, so we might have to start thinking about something else in terms of training. Lots of spell power available for both Irradiate and Noxious Bog, so maybe I just train transmutations till the cows come home. Bring it up to the point where no matter what transmutation form we end up seeing in the hopefully near future, we're able to take advantage of it. That seems kind of nice for sure. I'm such a diehard fan of Noxious Bog now. Can't believe I never used this spell back in the day. Just incredible. Oh gosh, and there. Oh, and they both have arbalists. What the heck is even that? Is that allowed? Well, you hate to see it. I guess we could go tree form and just try to withstand the pressure. So let's see, if we drank Lig, AC would go up to 30. These Sun's Guns deal 32 damage. Like, that's not bad. Unfortunately, we just don't have the health required to kind of ride out that probability wave. You know, chances are that they're dealing half damage every time. That's still only 3 hits and I'm dead. So, Not that mutation matters anyway for Jivia, but it was pretty funny that they gifted mutation resistance that blocked all Orb Fire mutation effects. During Orb Run, Nethack managed to get past it once. It's funny in general when Jivia gives resistance to mutation. Definitely feels a little out of character, seems a little strange. But okie dokes, I guess I should start planning for the future here. Let's read a teleport. Noxious Bog gives me 1 bog space right there. Perfect. I think though I'm okay just waiting out the teleportation. There we go. Fantastic. Still not completely out of the frying pan here. And even if we do get out, there is the fire to contend with, of course, but still feeling a heck of a lot better than we were in that corner, mostly because, you know, and I was about to say we don't have a bunch of arbless slinging sons of guns at our back here, but I was wrong. Yes, you only have 28 health. I can probably, yeah, just airstrike you. Okay, that's not too shabby of a solution for these sons of guns in the future. And any of you melee buddies don't stand too much of a shot one way or another. Just keep my bog up. Behemoth just constantly replenishing our magic power by the number of kills we get per bog, that we can just do this until the cows come home, which is pretty nice to say the least. Just can't stand even a single turn next to our friends here, and we'll be fine and dandy. That would have been a lot of experience there at the very least. It's a nice little boost for us here. And you, my friend, should just come say hello. Come hang out for a wee bit. Perfect. In fact, I should do some swaps here. Let us change out Shock and Bog, because I would rather have Bog on a hockey, seeing as how we're using it in every single fight here without fail. And perfect. Let's see. Armor shop, not what I was looking for. Weapon shop, also not what I was looking for. Let's try that again, shall we? Something useful. Anything, even marginally useful, would be just ideal. Just beautiful, really. Just fantastic. Let's get you out into the open, my friend. And that's the ticket. Beautiful. Okay, double potion. It's not as bad as the others. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to complain too much, but it's still not ideal. I'll buy some of these un-ID'd potions. Even spending the 28 gold for the generation is probably worth it. Might as well. Just free identifies at the end of the day. You know, it is what it is. Buy one of those and mark the rest as future purchases. Ooh, Potion of Magic as well, don't forget that. Okie dokie, not too shabby here. And again, very happy that we're making it through Orc at this stage. Like, normally I don't clear Orc until a little bit later in our journey, and we're not having too many problems at all, thanks to Bog. So that definitely bodes well for our future, even if we do end up having some issues getting back into Lair in a bit here. You got a bit scared in Crypt, Colgate? Is there there was VV. You've died to VV before. VV. I'm guessing this is unique, but I'm blanking on who that is at the moment. Mostly because you can't slamify non-living enemies and silence does nothing against them. Box of beasts and keeping them blinded with the wand of light work though. Nice. Yeah, I'm blanking on at the moment. I'm sure even if you don't mention it, it'll come back to me in a stroke of lightning. It is unique. I assumed it must be. Is their name just straight up VV, or is it is that shorthand for something? Slightly terrifying to immediately come face first with a two-headed ogre, but managed to get through there. And this is probably going to be our last area to explore here. Definitely murder you. It's not shorthand. Oh, their name is just VV. Oh, maybe I've never run into them then. Interesting. How about that? don't spend a lot of time in crypts, so even if they were added a few versions ago, I still think there are fairly decent odds that I never would have come across them myself. Because crypt is usually one of those sections of the game that I end up skipping by in favor of just getting out in one piece. But definitely makes a lot of sense, your story in general. Non-living enemies are the bane of your existence when you're relying on things like Slimify, like cold magic, poison magic, all that stuff. They're sometimes in depths. Interesting. Well, maybe this will be the run that we end up running into them ourselves, and I can commiserate with you a bit more in that regard. I know I can't make more bogs right now game, but I kind of wanted to just extend the duration of that one if I'm being honest. And that should just about do it. Perfect. Now come on, come all. Just come hang out with your little old Felid pal. Perfect. Sometimes in Zot as well. Okay, we'll be on the lookout. Hopefully we don't run into VV. The fewer enemies we come across, especially the fewer uniques we come across, the better. But that's cool. Okay, good. I was worried this book would have something like statue form in it, and I would have, had to risk this wild scenario here. Look at all of our friends. But as is, that's just gonna be enough for me, dog, and we'll get the heck out of Dodge real quick here. Fantastic. Not too shabby. So where do we wish to go next? Do I dare brave the entrance to Lair and all its nastiness? I guess the regular dungeon had Nessos and friends, which was not great, not ideal. Elf, no shot. We just die there, I believe. I guess Nessos was a rogue on that floor too. I kind of forget. I've blanked out everyone on D13. Oh, there, in the exclusions though, the annotation list below. It is Nessos and a rogue, so woo. And then Lair is mostly just Banar, so maybe we just have to risk the cold magic and everything that entails. Have I met Agnes? Oh, multiple times. Yes, Agnes and I are well acquainted. Definitely not quite as terrifying as the Enchantress, but any Spriggan unique is a bit of a nightmare depending on which type of character you're running. Lately I've had no problems because I've been playing a lot of spellcasters that have undodgeable high damage spells, and that's just the recipe for a good time when it comes to both the Enchantress and Agnes themselves. In fact, I think Cataly Portman, who we almost got a win with, was doing well enough to barely even notice the Enchantress. I got terrified, but my character just immediately murdered them without a second thought, and it was beautiful. You had that on the entrance to Spider 1 in your run? Oof, yeah, that's pretty early to run into Agnes too, so that's definitely a rough one. But okie dokes. What can we do here? No extra lives, unfortunately. Having already lost our 3 extra lives is definitely a bit counterintuitive to the way that I wanted this latest run to go. We've been skirting by recently on all of our cats with only ever having the buffer of 1 life. Sometimes it's nice to have a few more under your belt so that you know you can make mistakes more than just the one time, but hey, it is what it is. Surviving the early dungeon on a kitty, harder than it otherwise might come out to be, or might seem to be, I should say. Favorite species, or your favorite species is Demon Spawn, your favorite god is Jivia, maybe just like mutations. There's something beautiful about it. They were my favorite when I first started playing the game, and still to this day I absolutely adore mutation characters. But that resonates with me, because I was the type of person who would just, for fun, go in for some mutation roulette and see how it all shakes out. Where are you, Pickle? There you are. 39 health. Probably die pretty fast to airstrikes, right? No? No? Divorce? Well, okay, that's not quite how I expected that to go. That's much better. I was kind of hoping that you'd have like a ring of ice on you or something. I don't know what I was dreaming of. Really just anything to deal with our problems in life here. This is another floor that we can at least come back to. Orc Priests no longer quite the definitive death sentence they once were. And do we have any cold resistance? Oh gosh, no cold resistance in the entire game. Yay! In that case, I don't know if Fenrir is an option. Maybe we do have to just head back. Oops, let's try that again. Head back down into the depths of the dungeon here, just trying to avoid Nessos and Arug, potentially skip the rest of that floor in its entirety. Oh, that's not the answer. Oh, this is why they were all hanging out here. You know, I even thought to myself for a brief moment about a minute ago, like, we haven't found our vault's entrance. Maybe that's what all those humans were doing. I thought they just were having a good time with their buddy old pal Nessos, but hey, it is what it is, I guess. One thing to quickly check, Nessos's willpower isn't very good, so that's one of the few kind of avenues for how to deal with that son of a gun when you're feeling unsure. And it's not bad. 50% chance to charm the son of a gun. Not ideal, not bad. Somewhere right down smack dab in the middle. But for now, let's just not worry too much about them. We'll come back and get murdered brutally by them another day. Another day, another dawn, and for now, let's instead just focus on getting through as many of these sons of guns as possible. Transmutation's continuing to climb here. A friendly Quokka. Why, hello there, my cutie. How adorable.